Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 3, Episode 12, Macrocosm. I did not like this episode. Like, God, I would almost even say I hated this episode. Like, it was just not the one for me. It kind of seemed like it was a bottle episode, where it's a bottle episodes, for those who haven't seen my other reviews, are the ones where they film it in a very tight, closed set, and it's a way to kind of keep the cost of the episode down. Like, it seems like a bottle episode, but the CGI that was used, considering this was like 1996, probably like blew out their budget. So they couldn't have any other actors except for Janeway because they blew all their budget on the CGI. So for this episode, it's basically Neelix and Janeway are off doing whatever, and they come back to Voyager, which is not where it's supposed to be. And when they get on board, like, the crew is missing. Like, they can't find anybody. And it turns out that the ship has been invaded by these... At first, it's like these mysterious aliens. And then once we start seeing them, they're very, like, CGI, and it's almost like three tentacles that combine in the center. And, like, at one point, Neelix kind of gets sprayed by this random tentacle, and Janeway scans him, and I like that scene for one specific reason, where she's like, oh, you have a fever, and you have fluid in your lungs, and Neelix is just like, lung, and like, it's such a throwaway line, like, you blink and you miss it line, and it's a shout out to where, when we first saw the Vidians, and they took his lungs, and then Kes donated one of her lungs, so he does only have one, and so I really liked that. But eventually Neelix, like, just disappears once again. Like, how many episodes has he just disappeared? Eventually Janeway finds the doctor, and then the episode becomes a flashback episode where the doctor's like, oh, we went somewhere, and they beamed me to the planet, because he has his little emitter now. And so he, like, gets a sample, and these, like, microorganisms start expanding, and they keep growing bigger, and they spread through the ship, and they infect everybody, and it's up to Janeway to solve the day. And of course, her and the doctor together, and the aliens start attacking the mobile emitter because they're attracted to it, so he can't do anything. Like, God, this episode just bored me to tears. Like, I could not get into it. I understand it was supposed to be very, like, anticipation, on the edge of your seat, like a thriller type of episode. Oh, not quite a horror episode, but a very anticipation thriller type. It didn't do it for me. Like, I could not get into it. And by the time we get to the end, like, this other ship's ready to destroy Voyager, because they're like, we know what you have on board. And Janeway's like, we found a cure. And they're like, oh, okay. But Janeway convinces them of it, and just, yeah, I couldn't get into it. I didn't like it. Maybe I'm just having a bad day. I don't know. For those who have seen this one, go ahead. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for Fair Trade.